AMD's big day is finally here. After a powerful Monday session that saw shares soar over 5%, the company is now set to report earnings this afternoon, and the pressure is on. This isn't just another quarterly update. This report could define how AMD is perceived by the market for the rest of the year. Are we looking at the next great AI stock contender, or will the realities of export restrictions and execution challenges clip its momentum? Let's break down everything we know, what's changed since yesterday, and what's at stake in just a few hours. First, a quick recap of where we are. AMD closed Monday at $176.78, up over 5% on the day, and continued to hold that level in after-hours trading. That was the stock's strongest performance in recent weeks and brought it within striking distance of its 52-week high. The rally wasn't just a technical move, it was driven by strong institutional interest, options market activity, and intensifying speculation about AMD's growing footprint in the AI chip space. As we talked about in our previous videos, AMD is riding a powerful narrative right now, one built on AI acceleration, strong data center demand, and a credible roadmap to compete with Nvidia in the high-end GPU market. And today's earnings call will either validate that momentum or introduce doubt into the story. Now here's what's new going into Tuesday. In the past 24 hours, several analysts and financial news sources have doubled down on the idea that AMD is gaining traction with major cloud providers. AWS remains the name everyone's watching. If AMD has managed to secure or even initiate a sizable deal with Amazon Web Services for its Instinct MI300 or upcoming MI400 GPUs, that could be the catalyst that sends the stock decisively past $180 and toward the next price target wall at $200. Now, of course, nothing has been confirmed on that front. But what's interesting is that even unconfirmed, this potential partnership has already had a material impact on the stock. It's rare for rumors alone to drive such sustained upside, unless the market senses that there's some real fire behind the smoke. We've also heard renewed chatter around the Helios platform and MI400 roadmap, both of which are expected to be addressed, at least briefly, during the earnings call. The Helios platform is being positioned as a purpose-built solution for hyperscale AI infrastructure. And the MI400? That's AMD's attempt to leapfrog even further into Nvidia's territory, with early specs suggesting a significant jump in performance over the current MI300 series. So we have momentum, we have expectations, and we have a market that is hungry for confirmation. But we also have a few headwinds that AMD will need to address tonight. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the $800 million export-related charge. AMD is expected to report earnings per share of just 47 to 48 cents, down sharply from the same quarter last year. That drop is largely due to a one-time hit related to US government restrictions on AI chip shipments to China. It's not a reflection of AMD's core performance, but it's still going to show up in the numbers. Now here's the thing, investors already know about the charge. It's been widely reported and factored into the EPS consensus. But how AMD frames this issue during the call is going to matter a lot. If management signals that this is a temporary obstacle, and that they're working through licensing to resume shipments, investors are likely to shrug it off. But if there's a suggestion that the revenue impact could stretch into 2025, that's where we could see some pressure on the stock. The second thing to watch is guidance. Q2 results will be important, but the market is already looking ahead to Q3 and beyond. With the MI350 ramping and early MI400 buzz building, bulls want to hear that AMD expects acceleration through the back half of the year. If guidance is strong, and especially if it includes double-digit growth projections in the data center segment, we could see another leg up in the share price. So what does success look like for AMD tonight? It's not necessarily about blowing the doors off in terms of revenue or profit. Instead, it's about proving that the long-term growth thesis is still intact. That means continued strength in the data center and client segments. It means forward-looking commentary around AI chip demand. And it means transparency about challenges like the China export ban, paired with a credible plan to manage through it. On the flip side, here's what could derail the momentum. If AMD misses on revenue or EPS, even slightly, that could introduce short-term volatility. With the stock already up 45% year-to-date, expectations are high, and that can sometimes work against a company, even when it's executing well. Investors will also be closely analyzing any language around delays in product rollout, competitive pricing pressure, or weaker-than-expected demand from hyperscalers. But the wild card, once again, is China. If AMD offers new insight on its export situation, such as pending license approvals or new market strategies, that could change the conversation in a big way. Any clarity here, especially if it suggests the $800 million charge won't repeat or will be offset by new orders, would likely be seen as a bullish development. From a technical perspective, the chart looks strong. AMD recently broke through resistance near $170 and has consolidated nicely above that level. The next clear resistance level is around $185 to $188, which corresponds with prior peaks. If earnings are solid and guidance is upbeat, that range could be tested quickly. The options market is also signaling a big move. Implied volatility ahead of earnings suggests traders are bracing for a swing of up to 7% in either direction. That's roughly a $12 move, meaning we could see the stock as low as $164 or as high as $188 by tomorrow, depending on how the report lands. So, let's recap what to watch heading into AMD's earnings call today. First, the numbers. Revenue around $7.4 billion and EPS around 47 cents are the consensus estimates. Hitting or beating those numbers sets the stage. Second, the story. The market wants updates on AI product momentum, especially the MI350 and MI400 series. Details on adoption, supply chain readiness, and customer interest will be key. Third, partnerships. Will we get confirmation, or even a hint, about that AWS rumor? Fourth, guidance. Strong Q3 projections could be the real driver of stock movement, especially in light of the current export-related headwinds. And finally, the macro. Any comment on resuming China shipments or navigating US export controls will be scrutinized. We've said this before and it's worth repeating, AMD isn't just trying to ride the AI wave. It wants to lead it. Tonight, we'll get a clearer sense of whether it's on track to do just that. So stay tuned. This could be a defining moment for AMD's 2025 story.